The words "fired for incompetence" lingered in the air like smoke as Sophia Reynolds smirked from behind her polished mahogany desk. At 45, she'd made her career by stepping on people like me. At least that's what she thought. "Emma," she purred, her voice dripping with mock sweetness. "Did you really think you could keep skating by on mediocrity?" The Henderson project was a mess. I remained silent, letting her bask in the illusion of victory. The Henderson project had been flawless, at least, until she'd sabotaged it after swiping it from my desk. That was the real disaster. No response. She leaned back in her chair, satisfaction etched across her face. "Well, I've already spoken to HR. Your termination is effective immediately. And don't bother asking me for a reference. I'll make sure you never work in this industry again." I opened my laptop slowly, deliberately. "Actually, Sophia," I began, eyes fixed on her. "I think we need to talk about the Henderson project. Specifically, how you altered the entire proposal after you took it from me." Her smirk faltered just a touch. "I have no idea what you're talking about. Security will escort you out in 5 minutes." "That's fine. I just need 3. I slid my laptop towards her. "You see, I have the original proposal here. The one Mr. Henderson approved before you decided to change everything. Would you care to explain why?" Her face drained of color. "Those are confidential company documents. You can't." "Oh, but I can," I interrupted, my voice calm and even. "You see, Mr. Henderson works with me. Or, more accurately, he works for my company. Titan Innovations. Ever heard of it?" Sophia's perfect facade cracked wide open. Titan Innovations was the crown jewel her firm had been chasing for years, the elusive client they'd been courting relentlessly. The CEO, the one who never made public appearances, only communicated through representatives, had become an obsession for her. That's impossible," she stammered. "Titan Innovations is run by—" I clicked open another file on my laptop. There I was in full professional glory. "Emma Carter, founder and CEO of Titan Innovations, current market value $42 million. "No," she whispered. "Yes," I replied, unfazed. "When I first joined your firm 2 years ago, I did it to assess whether you could be a potential partner for Titan. I wanted to see how you operated from the inside, and Sophia, I've seen it all." The security guard knocked on the door. "Ms. Reynolds, you requested an escort." "Just a moment," I called out, not breaking eye contact. "Sophia and I are finalizing her resignation." "Her what?" the guard asked, confused. Sophia found her voice, desperate now. "This is absurd. You're being fired." Security. "Shall I call Mr. Henderson?" I asked softly, raising an eyebrow. "Or maybe the board might like to hear about your little habit of changing approved proposals." "I have all the proof, Sophia. Every project you hijacked, every change that cost this firm millions, every email where you stole someone else's work." Her hands trembled, panic flooding her. "You can't prove any of this." I pulled out my phone, playing a recording of her voice, clear and unmistakable, ordering her assistant to erase my name from project documents and replace it with hers. "I got 2 years of this," I said coolly. "And as of this morning, Titan Innovations now owns 51% of your company's shares. You can confirm that with the board. The deal just went through." Sophia sank back into her chair, her expensive suit suddenly seeming too large, too empty. "So," I continued, voice steady, "you have 2 choices. You can quietly resign right now, take the basic reference I'm offering you, and salvage your reputation. Or, I can present my evidence to the board and press charges for fraud." "You've been plotting this from the start," she whispered, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Since the day you stole my first project and humiliated me in front of the office?" "Yes, I have." 2 years ago, I could have easily rejected her firm's bid for Titan's business. But after watching her tear others down to build herself up, I decided to dig deeper. What I uncovered was far worse than I could have imagined: systematic theft, manipulation, and deceit on a massive scale. "The resignation letter is ready," I said, sliding a document across her desk. "You've got 3 minutes before I make the call to the board." Her hand shook as she reached for the pen. "I didn't know. I didn't realize." "That's been your problem all along, Sophia," I said with a knowing smile. "You never considered that the quiet ones might be dangerous. Too busy building your empire to realize you were actually working for mine." The security guard shifted uncomfortably by the door as Sophia signed her resignation. I took the paper and stood. Mr. Carter, I addressed the guard, please escort Ms. Reynolds to clear out her desk. And Sophia, the board meeting starts in an hour. I'd suggest you be gone by then. I walked out of her office, my office now, and headed to my old desk to collect the few personal items I'd left behind. They'd always been just for show, part of the character I played while evaluating her firm from the inside. My phone buzzed. A message from Mr. Henderson. Is it done? Yes, I typed back. The merger is complete, and Sophia Reynolds just resigned. His response came quickly. Couldn't have happened to a nicer person. Dinner next week to celebrate. I smiled, recalling how furious he'd been when he found out about Sophia's unauthorized changes to his project. He'd been one of my first clients at Titan, and his unwavering support had played a major role in my company's success. The office was alive with whispers as I'd packed. Sophia's assistant, Rachel, approached cautiously. Security just escorted Ms. Reynolds out. She was crying. Really? I said, carefully wrapping up the fake family photos I kept on my desk. How interesting. There's a rumor going around that Titan Innovations bought us out, Rachel continued, and that the CEO is somewhere here. I stood picking up my box of things. Rachel, could you please let everyone know there will be a mandatory staff meeting in 30 minutes? I have some announcements to make. But you're leaving, aren't you? I smiled, thinking of all the times Sophia had made Rachel stay late, taking credit for her ideas while belittling her efforts. Not at all, I said, walking out the door. I'm just getting started. Actually, Rachel, I said, turning slowly, my voice calm yet loaded with purpose. I'm just getting started. And trust me, you'll find the next few hours very interesting indeed. The conference room filled quickly, and the murmur of hushed voices echoed through the glass walls. Employees trickled in, eyes darting nervously between their phones, already buzzing with the news of Sophia's dramatic exit, and me seated at the head of the table. Is it true? Sophia's gone. But isn't that just Emma from accounting? I stood up, adjusting my blazer, not the simple retail version I'd worn as part of my cover, but the tailored Armani I'd kept in my car for this very moment. The room fell silent. Good morning, I began, letting the weight of my words sink in. I'm sure you're all wondering what's happening today. Allow me to introduce myself properly. I'm Emma Carter, CEO of Titan Innovations, and as of this morning, the majority shareholder of Reynolds and Associates. The shock was immediate. Karen from HR dropped her tablet. Tom from legal froze mid-sip of his coffee, staining his tie with a dark brown blotch. But you've been? Mark, one of Sophia's most loyal followers, stammered, his face draining of color. Working in accounting. Yes, I finished for him, observing how this company operates, and let me tell you, I've seen everything. I clicked a button, and the presentation screen flared to life. Let's talk about the future of this firm. But first, we need to address the past. Slides appeared, one after another, original project documents with names erased, credits reassigned, and stolen work. Sophia hadn't just taken my work, she'd made a habit of stealing from everyone. Rachel, I called out to Sophia's former assistant, who had been trying to hide in the corner. Why did we tell everyone what happened to the proposal you worked on for the Henderson account? Rachel's eyes widened. How did you? The one Sophia called a mature before presenting a nearly identical version as her own just 2 weeks later. The room was so silent you could hear the hum of the air conditioning. These practices end today, I continued. I've spent the last 2 years documenting every instance of stolen credit, every manipulated project, every case of workplace harassment. Some of you were victims, some were enablers, and some of you just stayed quiet to protect your jobs. Mark raised his trembling hand. Are we being fired? That depends, I replied coolly. Titan Innovations believes in second chances, but we also believe in accountability. I clicked to the next slide. Over the next week, every project from the past 2 years will be reviewed. Original credits will be restored. Compensation will be adjusted accordingly, including back pay for stolen commissions. The room erupted into whispers as the gravity of the situation sank in. Rachel wiped her eyes. Her stolen commissions were gone, but the validation she deserved was finally here. Additionally, I continued, raising my voice to be heard, Titan Innovations is implementing a strict anti-harassment policy. No more bullying, no more stolen credit, no more forced unpaid overtime while others take the glory. Just as I finished, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Sophia. "You can't do this. I built this firm." I smiled darkly, tapping my reply. "No, Sophia. You didn't build this firm. You stole it." By evening, the office was already feeling different. Sophia's name had been wiped from the door. Her loyal supporters were scrambling to update their resumes. Those she had wronged were finally speaking up, sharing stories of stolen work and destroyed confidence. A month later, the transformation was undeniable. Rachel, once overlooked, was now a project manager, her true potential finally recognized. Mark and his cronies had resigned rather than face the consequences. New policies were in place to ensure transparency and fair credit allocation. As I sat in what had once been Sophia's office 6 months after the takeover, reviewing quarterly reports, I felt a surge of pride. Profits were up by 40%. Employee satisfaction had reached an all-time high. The toxic culture that Sophia had fostered was being replaced by something healthier, more collaborative. My phone buzzed again. A message from Mr. Henderson. "Just landed the Peterson contract. They said our presentation was refreshingly honest. You've really changed things." I smiled, remembering Sophia's infamous claim that business is about appearance, not substance. She had been so wrong about that and so much more. The intercom buzzed. "Ms. Carter, your 2 o'clock is here." "Send them in," I replied. A young woman entered, sharp, capable, but visibly nervous. I recognized the same spark in her that I'd once had. "Ms. Carter," she began, voice wavering, "thank you for meeting with me. I'm interviewing for the junior analyst position." "Sarah, right?" I gestured to the chair across from me. "Tell me, what do you know about our company culture?" She straightened, her voice growing stronger. "You believe in giving credit where it's due, in building people up instead of tearing them down. The industry talks about how you transformed this place. And why does that matter to you?" I asked, intrigued. "Because," she replied with newfound confidence, "I worked for someone like Sophia Reynolds at my last job. Someone who thought stepping on others was the only way to rise. I'd rather work twice as hard somewhere that values integrity." I studied her for a moment, then smiled. "You know, I kept this office exactly as Sophia had it designed. The mahogany desk, the expensive art, all of it. Do you know why?" She shook her head. "As a reminder that appearances can be deceiving. Sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the one you're looking right past. Sophia never saw me for who I really was because she was too busy looking down on everyone she thought was beneath her." I walked to the window, gazing out at the city skyline. The truly powerful don't need to steal credit or bully others. Real strength comes from lifting people up, from building something lasting. I turned back to Sarah, and in her eyes, I saw the same fire I had when I started Titan Innovations. "The position is yours if you want it. Just remember, in this company, we value substance over appearance, integrity over ego, and most importantly, we never underestimate anyone." Later that night, as I was leaving, I passed the wall where employee achievements were proudly displayed. Rachel's latest successful project, Sarah's acceptance letter, dozens of others finally getting the recognition they deserved. My phone buzzed one last time, a message from Sophia. "I hope you're happy. You've ruined my life." I thought for a moment about responding, about reminding her that she had ruined her own life with her actions. But instead, I turned off my phone and headed to my car. After all, success spoke louder than any words ever could. The next morning, industry news reported that Titan Innovations had just landed another major contract. The article praised our reputation for integrity and innovation, and Sophia's name wasn't mentioned once. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about building something so much better that their attempts to hurt you become mere footnotes in your success story. As I walked into the office, I smiled, knowing that somewhere Sophia was reading that article. And at long last, she understood what she failed to see for 2 years. Never judge someone's worth by their position. The quiet ones might just be building an empire of their own.